What I'm gonna see. I wasn't running. For some reason, I didn't. I was walking briskly, you know, fast, but not running. And the first person I found was the young lady. She was bleeding from the head, and I took some cloth. It was 4th of July. The sun was beaming down on her. I just put some cloth over her face. Then I found the next man, the other brother, or the other freedom fighter. His arm was broke. Then I found my cousin. He was in a fetal position. He could hardly breathe. His foot was broken, the bones of his feet were sticking out, and there was a big gash in his thigh. And I kneeled down next to him, and I said, ASEAL, ASEAL, ASEAL. The police come, and the ambulances, and they take us to the hospital. We go to this hospital in Ohio, which later learned was Columbus, Ohio, a Catholic hospital for that matter. And I get on the telephone to call my mother and tell her what happened. Well, in those days, you had one phone in the whole house. I lived on the 3rd floor of a 3-story house in North Philadelphia. So when I picked the phone up, my mother picked the phone up. My aunt, his mother on the 2nd floor, who lived on the 2nd floor, picked the phone at the same time. And she heard the conversation. I really wanted my mother to hear, to relate to her. And she said, Kenneth, what happened? I said, Aunt Thelma, ASEAL's mother, I don't know what happened. He said, the truck just turned over. I said, look, I can't talk now. ASEAL's critically injured, and I named the other 2 people. They were seriously injured. I said, I got to get back to the hospital. So I went back to the hospital. As I was entering the hospital, the Catholic priest met me at the door. And he said, are you a relative of ASEAL McWhorter? ASEAL McWhorter, his name was, William McWhorter, which we call him ASEAL. I said, yes, he's my cousin. He said, well, ASEAL died. I called my mother and I said, Mom, ASEAL is dead. She said, what? His mother screamed, the whole house screaming. I said, I gotta go. Had no money, freedom fighters, we didn't have no money. We lived off the land. We went to the city to help you. You helped us. We made sure we ate. We made sure we had clothes. Got out of jail, we were arrested. Freedom fight, we had no money. I walked out the hospital looking for the first black face I could see. What we gonna do? No money, cousin dead, 2 injured. Not thinking yet that I was fighting to get in that van. First face I saw happened to be a student from Africa, a person from Africa, a student at one of the universities in Ohio. I asked him where was the black community, took me to a public housing area. I met this community organization, told them what had happened, and their compassion, didn't know me, never heard of me, but their compassion was running high. They gathered money. First they gathered some funds to go and get the food off the highway and, you know, clean up the, you know, whatever was salvaged, whatever was left. Then they raised money to buy plane tickets for myself, the other freedom fighters, and my cousin. And you know, a dead body, it costs more to fly under the plane than on top of the plane. You know that, don't you? But because of compassion, they got all of us back to Philadelphia. When we came back to Philadelphia, it was all in the newspapers, national papers, you know, the civil rights workers, food turns over, one is killed. It was the headlines. You know, I'm happy to save that article. I use it sometimes to show people that everything is real. And when we came back to Philadelphia, we had the funeral for my cousin. But right after my cousin's funeral, not even, I don't think it was 48 hours, I was back at it again. Help me, give me some food, give me some medicine, give me some, and then one gentleman donated a real nice truck. We had a nice van this time, but, you know, and we had all this food, clothing, and medicine. On the road again to Mississippi, to the poor farm, starving people. But let me show you compassion. No internet, no tweet, what you call it, tweet, what's that, Twitter. No Facebook. Let me show you compassion. When we got back on the road to go to Mississippi, I'm winding down. When we get back on the road to go to Mississippi, every city that we was going to stop at to take a break on our journey, the word had got out over the country nationally of what had happened, and little not knowing to us, not becoming to us. When we reached certain cities, there was a van full of food, clothing, and medicine waiting to join us. And it became the Mississippi Food Caravan to take the food to Mississippi. So, young people, compassion. Just as I'm getting ready to read what I just told you. There are children in homes, to you students here, they are, to show compassion, there are children in homes right outside these walls who wish they could read. You take reading for granted, but reading is something, man. Because if you can read, if you don't learn anything else in life, learn how to read. Because if you can read, you can do anything you want. Because everything is in instructions. There's a saying that says, knowledge is the lost possession of the people. So if you find it, give it to them. There are many children outside of these walls right now who wish they could read. And you should have a compassion for them to maybe organize a reading program here at Girard College or at one of the community centers outside of here to try and bring hope and a smile to their faces, because they now can read with confidence. And finally, you should choose a career in life that you love to do. And because of you, because of your career, many people will benefit from your talents and deeds for generations to come. So ask yourself now, in your mind, when I become a grown adult, will I be useful to the world, or will I be a liability or trouble to the world? In other words, will I help the world or will I hurt the world? You got to ask yourself that now. You have to age now and ask yourself that. Will I be a help to this earth or will I be a hurt to this earth? Don't tell me the answer, because it will show in your actions. In other words, what will I do to make this world different? Will it be positive? Will it be negative? So if you take all of these 5 points that we've just talked about and make them a part of your life, you will undoubtedly become that humanitarian star. You, 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head. And you will leave your footprints in the sands of time that will encourage people to work together to make our world better and safer. I leave you with a verse from a song I wrote. And I'm going to warn you now, I'm not Jay-Z, but I do want you to see. When you rise and shine in the morning, make a commitment to yourself that you're not gonna let the sun go down and you not reach out and help someone else. This here world is getting out of hand now. So much corruption all through the land. And it's gonna take a whole lot of people like you to speak up and take a stand. I love you. Thank you.
Boys and girls, I really appreciate your thoughtful attention. I hope that you heard these words. I thank you, Mr. Ken, for loving us before we existed. What we are going to do is we will sing Hail Gerard, and then I'm going to deviate a little bit from the norm. And because of the length of our chapel today, and I know that Mr. Gallagher probably has some announcements to make to the older students, I really do ask the seniors to indulge me here, and I do want the younger kids to be able to leave as soon as we sing Hail Gerard. They've been very patient. They've been very well behaved. So when our youngest students leave, Mr. Gallagher, you can come up, make your announcements, and then we can have the seniors process out. So, Mr. Eaton, if you'll come and lead us, please, in Hail Gerard.
Please stand.